winning means never having to say you're sorry. Leader Fan Radio Network.
What do you mean?
And KFAN.com. 2 minutes and 13 seconds past 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Welcome back. It is a Thursday edition of the Bumper to Bumper Afternoon Aardvark program on a beautiful weekday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. 1 week away from our return to the Great Minnesota Get-Together.
Yes.
It all comes full circle. The State Fair is literally, right around the corner. Guardsy produces the show. I'm former Inkster and Wretch newspaper of the Twin Cities, and we are delighted that you are along at least for a portion or two of today's ride, which should include an in-studio visit just in time with Aaron Gleeman. That's scheduled for 4:02 today. Aaron Gleeman, 4:02. Dr. Dan's inbox is slated for 5:30. Email Guardsy, jg@kfan.com with your requisite snark. And we will look forward to that bit of business as well between 5:30 and 6 o'clock today. We, of course, were not at TCO for day 2 of the joint practices between the Baltimore Ravens and the home-standing Minnesota Vikings. The early returns seem to suggest that our defense had a really good time today. I think the quote from Byron Murphy was, "I haven't had this much fun in a long, long time."
Love it.
And we'll remember it for probably a day or 2 or 3, and then we'll forget it probably as quickly as we remember it. But we're in the present, and the scrimmages are in front of us. So they are hard. It's irresistible, whether it goes really well or really poorly. Allegedly, our ground game looked better. The outside zone finally got to the Ravens a little bit, I'm told today.
Did we attack more? Because that was the big word yesterday.
That's true.
We were thinking too much, according to Brian O'Neill. Did we attack more today?
You know who I have the answer to that question? Gleeman.
You think so?
Locked in. Loves the combined practice sessions, the joint practice sessions. Always has. Frequent visitor to TCO Performance Center this time of year. So we'll get his view on that. If we have anybody who was out there, hit the Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line for an unvarnished opinion. 64686. It's now semi-official that J.J. McCarthy is about to take or make his last stand in Minnesota. The head coach confirming that J.J. is likely to start and play extensively against the Ravens on Saturday. Another high noon start right here on the Fan, pregame at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say it's kind of what I expected. We talked about this with, I don't know which beat man it was yesterday or the day before, that it would certainly make sense to think that you're going to play McCarthy a lot. Not much reason to play Kyler at this point. Seemingly even less reason to play Carson Wentz. You kind of know who he is. So McCarthy needs the reps. McCarthy's going to get the reps. How many starters will he have around him? Maybe not that many. But that's the position he's in, so he's got to make something out of it. He's got to at least deliver a message that he's got a pulse.
I'm still here.
That's exactly right. And
I'm still kicking. I'm still screaming. I'm still gritty, and I'm still here. I'm still 9 somewhere.
100% correct. More on that a little bit later in the show. And as I said, if you were out there and have some impressions, go ahead and text us. The Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN toxic text line is open. 64686. I've given you the guest today via the uglydeck.com lineup. And the inbox, as I said, plenty of time to get in on that fun, since that's not scheduled until 5:30 this evening. I mentioned off the top of the program that winning means never having to say, "You're sorry, leader." Sal Brandis said it a long time ago. One of the first. He bellowed this to me along press row, back in the days when press row was courtside. It's a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's a very dated reference.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with winning? Actually, let me do the inflection better. What's wrong with winning? It was after a Timberwolves victory under Bill Musselman, and he's looking directly up at me. Who is Sal Brandis?
I was going to say, fill in for the kids.
Team trainer at the time.
Yep.
Fitness guy at the time.
Yep.
Now,
Guru.
more recently, realtor. I don't know what he is lately. And best friend to Christian Laettner over the years. A very unlikely pairing, one could say.
It's
but
an interesting group.
They've had a lot of fun together, I guess, over the years, fishing and outdoors, big outdoors people. And he asked me, what's wrong with winning? And winning does generally mean you never have to say you're sorry. Now, the downside of winning is the obvious. You build expectation, and if you don't meet that expectation, then there's a better chance you're going to get pounded, and you're going to be disappointed. And that's the inherent unfairness to it, because you could say, well, you wouldn't have to worry about expectations being raised if you just meandered along at 500. So it's almost cruel and punishing what winning can do if you do not pay off on the winning. Correct? Latest example, your red-hot Minnesota Lynx. Facing their latest alleged challenge, the Golden State Valkyries. Plural, right?
Yes.
The Valkyries. And they're the team that's kind of been the talk of the WNBA just because they're so new. Attendance through the roof. Excellence through the roof. They came, I guess, calling for us. And they had us at home. And how did the Minnesota Lynx respond? With a comfortable 11-point victory, despite the fact that late, I can see for miles and miles and miles, tweaked her ankle. Any update on that today?
I haven't seen any. No, they flew home today, I think, and I don't think there was any media or anything like that. But she was back on the bench at the end of the game.
Good sign?
I think that's a good sign. It seemed like she was walking around okay.
Encouraging sign to you?
Yeah, I think so.
She had another good score, another excellent game. It was 7 assists and how many points? 20,
I think.
20-some, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
And shot, I think, 80% from the floor. It seemed like everything she was shooting went in.
The Lynx are 30-7. That's their current record. 30-7, easily the best record now in the WNBA. And it's maybe even overdue for us to celebrate their greatness. Now, the payoff, again, has to be what they do with this opportunity in the postseason. That's like, as I said, the cruel double-edged sword of being really good is then you're expected, frankly, to win the title. That's the heat that it puts on. I don't think that's heat that Cheryl Reeve necessarily runs from, but that's the reality of being really, really good. Do you have a piece of paper?
I can get one. I'm ready.
I mentioned a record of 30-7 this year.
Yep.
Easily the best in WNBA. I want you to try to do this division exercise for me. What's wrong?
Oh, come on. Can't even do addition.
So if they're 30-7, how many games is that?
37.
37 games.
Yeah.
Can you divide 320? I'll just give you the exercise.
Okay.
327 divided by 37. 327 divided by 37. What does that equal?
8.8, according to my calculator.
8.8. That is your average margin of victory for your Minnesota Lynx. Almost double figures on average. Point differential for the season, 327, which is 111 points higher.
Wow.
Than the number 2 team, the aforementioned Valkyries. Fever, Caitlin Clark, a paltry 212. That's their point differential. Again, 100 points and change below us. The excellence just keeps on riding on. It keeps on keeping on. And I put together, I think these are unofficial, but I think these are pretty accurate. Let's broaden out the discussion a little bit. All-time winning percentage, regular season, of your favorite Minnesota professional sports teams. The Vikings, the Wolves, the Wild, the Twins, and your Minnesota Lynx. Care to guess who among those pro teams, again, lifetime, for the history of the franchises,
Yep.
has the worst winning percentage among our teams? Shouldn't really be that tough to figure out.
It's got to be the Wolves.
It's got to be the Wolves, and you're 100% right.
Yep.
All-time winning percentage, unofficially, 421.
And that's with a 5-year surge.
That's true.
Think about how bad it was.
That's true. Because for a while there, it was like, wasn't it like 3 years ago we became the losingest franchise ever?
That's exactly right.
We're no longer in that because we've been winning too much lately. But still.
And the ticket prices reflect that.
421. Second worst winning percentage all time, Minnesota Pro Sports. You want to hazard a guess there?
Second worst, I would say, has to be the Twins.
Very well done. I have it unofficially at 482, which is actually higher than I thought it would be. Third lowest winning percentage?
The Wild.
Very good. 514. Let's turn it the other way. Who has the second highest winning percentage among Minnesota Pro Sports teams?
Must be the Vikes.
542.
Yeah.
And King and Queen of the Hill? Lifetime. Your Minnesota Lynx, unofficially, sit at 570. That's 57% for those not paying attention. 570 for your Minnesota Lynx. Not bad.
It's pretty good, especially given their first 8 to 10 years weren't great. I think they had a couple okay teams.
Well, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
As Ron Rosenbaum
would say, in honor of Ron.
Back when we were not playing Timberwolves, Lynx basketball, Brian Agler was our first coach. Not really a horrible record, 15-17. Did not qualify for the playoffs. Year 2, 15-17. Year 3 with Agler, 12-20. Year 4, we started with Agler, then went to your gal Vanderveer.
I never knew that.
Agler 6-13, Vanderveer 4-9.
Really?
And then in 2003, we finished 18-16 and lost in the conference semis with Susie McConnell-Serio. I don't even remember her, do you?
I don't.
She was also 18-16 the next year. Then there was a 14-20. Then there was a 10-24. She didn't last that whole year. Then, remember Don Zierden?
Love Z. Great guy.
10-24, 16-18.
And then he went back when Flip went back into the NBA.
Jennifer Gillum, Gillom, 14-20. And then in 2010, we hired a woman named Cheryl Reeve. Year 1, 13-21. And the team did not qualify for the playoffs. We finished 5th in the West. That was 2010. The next year, this had nothing to do with my amour, right? 27-7. Won the WNBA title.
Yeah.
2012, 27-7. 2013, 26-8. 14, 25-9. 2015, 22-12. 2016, 28-6. 2017, 27-7. And then we faded a little. Still above 500. 18-16, 18-16, 14-8. Is that COVID year, 2020?
Yes.
Then 22-10, and then the lean years. 2022 didn't even make the playoffs at 14-22. Followed that with 19-21. Since then, starting in 2024, 30-10, 34-10, and what did I say we are now?
30-7.
30-7. What's wrong, as Sal Brandis would say, with winning?
What's funny is
it's an extremely distinguished record.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
And this year in particular is even, to me, a different level because you just laid out the numbers. Every team that is supposedly chasing them, has them on their calendar, is ready to play them, and they just kind of like bat them away like they're this little nuisance.
Yeah.
No one. I tweeted it last night. The latest, hottest team in the WNBA to line up with the Lynx just They were up by, I think, as many as 21. It got a little dicey in the fourth quarter. Their offense kind of bogged down in the second half, talking about the Lynx. Golden State cut it to 7. Cheryl Reeve called a timeout. I think McBride had 2 straight baskets, and Olivia Miles hit a 3. And it's like, there's your ball game right there. They're just dismissing all challengers. And Cheryl did bring up to the USA crew, so I was watching that last night. She acknowledged what you brought up, that we've had some unbelievable regular seasons with this group. We have not yet done it the way we need to in the playoffs. So they are well aware, not that that should be surprising. They're well aware of what they've done, but they're also, I think, aware of what they have yet to do with this group, which is going to be interesting as they come down the stretch here.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any concerns about playing our main players too many minutes?
I don't. No. They've got a big break coming up.
We also don't have a single player in the top 10 in average minutes per game. I think the closest we have...
That's interesting.
...is... I think the closest we have is number 11, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double-check it to be sure before I shoot off my mouth like I often do.
So Cheryl's the anti-Tibbs is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't realize that.
I mean, I'm looking at 34.7, 34, 33.5. Paige Beckers, 33.4. They're going to run her into the ground early. AZ Fudd's already out. Didn't she just have to have surgery?
Yeah, she's out for the year now.
Out for the season. So that's a kicker to it, is that it doesn't appear that Cheryl Reeve, who's got a little Tibbs in her in some ways, has Tibbified this current edition of the Minnesota Lynx either.
It's funny you say that because as I've watched some of these games, I've actually come away surprised when they've taken Miles out or McBride out or Collier out. It's almost like I'm conditioned that the starters need to play and the best players need to play almost every single minute. I'm almost surprised sometimes how long they do keep respective people out of the game. And obviously it's working. And they have a lot of good players, so you have that advantage, right? You can sit Miles for a little bit, and Courtney Williams can run it. She had to do it last night. You can sit Nafisa Collier. Nia Coffey's been a nice free agent acquisition. She can kind of hold water there. Like, they have a lot of interesting pieces where they don't have to run anybody into the ground.
It looks to me like our number one player in terms of, see if I can get it, minutes per game. Looks like Alyssa Thomas is second in the league at 34.0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Looks like Kayla McBride is our most used player.
She was going to be my guess.
She is 11th in the league.
Yep.
Still a very reasonable 32.4, right?
Yep. So 75% of the game, roughly.
Courtney Williams is sitting there at 18, 30.5. But nothing extraordinary where you go, well, it's going to catch up with them.
Right.
In the postseason.
It was another fun game last night.
It was, yeah.
They're just frolicking around a place that is, they call it Valhalla, apparently. That's like what they call their home court advantage.
Yes.
Or their home court, the Chase Center, the $4 billion building in downtown San Francisco. And we just acted like it was a recreational game for much of it.
I would call it businesslike.
Yeah, they just were there
and
ready to go.
Defensively, we're celebrating. We seem to have gotten the message lately about upping the ante defensively, correct?
Yes.
Even though our raw defensive numbers aren't that bad at all.
No.
We figured we were slipping a little bit, and basically we took the team that's supposed to be the best defensive team, and we out-defended them.
Yes.
Fair to say?
Yes. The one thing that's interesting, that will be interesting in the playoffs, is Miles is not a great defender. She's not, and she's a great rebounder, but you can tell the others are covering for her a lot. To
your point, and no one's made a big deal of this because it's kind of gets lost in the wash. There have been several times I've seen late in games where it's a defensive possession where Cheryl's going to be able to switch out off of a break or a timeout or a change of possession. And I can see for Miles is on the bench.
Yeah, which I think is a smart
It's not
play.
illegal,
right.
But it is interesting, and it's to your point. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be a shutdown defender. And then you say, well, how many great point guards have been? A few, but not very many. And
she's small, too. She's undersized.
She is. That's part of it.
She gets hunted a lot.
That's absolutely part of it.
And switches and things like that. But they have enough good defenders to get around it. And it's hard to nitpick Olivia Miles. It's hard to find a negative with Olivia Miles.
Especially in year one.
She was coming out of halftime yesterday. She hit 2 unbelievable step-back elbow jumpers and made it look like a layup. I mean, it was just so easy how she makes some of this stuff look.
Creating space.
Yeah.
What the best point guards do. That's what the Wolves hope that the LaMelo Ball will do to open up everything for himself and, in her case, herself. And then, presumably, because she's got such incredible vision, the subtle pass. Just the pass to the right place, on time, sometimes early. This is interesting. Just got off work, and I hear y'all talking about the Lynx. My question is, why in the world does a coach not play her bench more?
I mean,
well, again,
they're 30-7.
And beyond that, the numbers don't indicate that she's typifying the team, is my point. It's not like there's 4 starters sitting there at 36 minutes.
Right.
So whether she could get more out of that or not, I don't know. I guess it's possible at certain times. But my God, that's where you got too much time on your hands. If that's your biggest concern, sitting there with a record of 30-7.
And they mix in Uhas.
We got 7 games left. That's it.
Yeah, they mix in Caldwell, who I like as kind of a defender and energy player. I'm trying to remember which game it was on the homestand, but they had a lineup in the third quarter that was mostly bench players. I think it might have been against Vegas. Yeah, it was. It was a Saturday night game against Vegas. Yeah. And it was like a 2-3-point game, and I don't remember all 5 who were out there, but Collier wasn't, Miles wasn't. I was trying to figure out who was going to score, and they end up making 2 threes. Vegas calls a timeout, and they never really looked back. So they have tinkered with different lineups as they've gone.
I see several people working overtime to get the host going.
Already.
I am prepared for that, and I'm even prepared to answer it. Reminder, again, Aaron Gleeman, big Wolves fan, big Lynx fan, big Excellence fan. Does he think the Twins have figured something out? Are we just back in another up streak as opposed to the last down streak? Can we take this any more seriously than the last good streak, which then was followed by another down streak? Where are we, America? With your Minnesota Twins, he'll answer those questions and more at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. And I expect him in studio to wax rhapsodic on the Banana Savannas. No, Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas, yeah.
It's the ultimate Gleeman test. Gleeman says, I'm not against fun. I'm not the classic cranky ball guy. But is he cranky about giving that much attention to the Banana Savannas? That's the question. I've never heard Gleeman talk about this before.
You're right. No, I haven't.
It's a perfect day to get into it with him. In addition to the Twins, Dr. Dan's inbox will be opened at 5:30 today. Email Guardsy, JG at KFAN.com. And it looks like among the texters, the commissioner of the WNBA has checked in.
Is that right?
Often listens to the program, sometimes live, sometimes via podcast. So there'll be a lot of ground to cover after a very short pause on a very, very busy day that, yes, will include the very latest steam from TCO, where we are not, because for the second consecutive day, they finished early, which made it nonsensical for us to be on the air between 3 and 6:30. We think that is perhaps, what's the word I'm looking for, deliberate? It's an attempt by the Vikings organization and the head coach to rain on our parade and to affect our influence, but they will not get to us that way. We will continue to stand tall when we return.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on the Fan.
Show start about 3:02.
Yeah, usually about then.
3:17 and 2 seconds. The Lynx. Nobody cares. It's become the go-to position for people who can't appreciate excellence. Let me quickly respond to 651 guy. No, you don't care. That's legal. Nobody cares is provably, demonstrably false. But keep trying. Your friends go at it from a different vantage point. Huh. We just had the World Cup, and you've already forgotten that the Minnesota United is a pro team here?
They're bottoming out, too, by the way, I think.
People are frauds. They go from standards are important to what's still soccer, though, and you're not really talking about it that much. Now, if Minnesota United was unbeaten, I'm not going to lie to you and pretend I would have been leading every show with it, but we probably would have gotten into it a little bit more. And then there's the other track. How many teams in this league again? Oh, that's right. Not even 20 yet. And then there's the face smack, the hand on the face smack emoji.
Yep, exactly. Which, by the way, makes it harder to be this dominant.
In a sense, because obviously the talent has improved in terms of depth, and there are still relatively few teams. But play this out. Go ahead and acknowledge and say, not as many teams. You're a fraud if that's what you're using in this debate. What's the objective? What's the standard? If you want to say there's an advantage to that, take advantage of it. Said the same thing about talent over the years and coaches. How good was he really when he didn't have that kind of talent? If you maximize talent by winning titles, you never have to apologize for it. No matter how many teams are in the league, doesn't matter. It's what you do with what you have. Lynx have won, is it 4 titles? They're going for their 5th.
Yes.
This is one for the thumb.
Yes. 11, 13, 15, 17, the years
Correct.
that they won.
And I didn't like the way they flamed out last year, to be honest.
It was bad.
I didn't think they dignified themselves at all.
It was very bad.
So we have no problems firing back and challenging because we have high standards for them. But if the best you can do is, how many teams really? What about Minnesota United? How many people they got? All you do is sound desperate. You either believe in excellence or you don't. And you either are honest with yourself or you don't, or you're not. And in that sense, I'll say again, you're not obligated to watch any of it. But you are lying to yourself and to others if you pretend that the entertainment quotient for this particular team is not high.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like any of it. You don't have to apologize for that, but you don't change the subject and pretend that they are not a viable and highly entertaining sports business available to you. You're trying too hard. And what's the date today? The 22nd?
August 20th.
August 20th. What else is there? Yeah, there's plenty of Vikings training camp stuff. We do it. We do it to death. We do it into the ground. There's some Twins. I'm still hesitant to a certain extent because they're not that good. They're pluckier than we thought, but they're still not that good. That's why we have Gleeman on to explain it for us and whether it's viable and what the cosmic significance meaning of it all. What the hell else is going on? What are we depriving you of? Because part of, I think, the approach we like to take is, in this given moment, for this 10 minutes to start a show, 20 minutes to start a show, what are you afraid of? What are we depriving you of? And we do have some other stuff to get into. Might even do that next segment that I found rather intriguing from the world of college football. Let's see. You have a standard of excellence that is already established in a town where we die for championships.
Yeah.
Die for them.
They're in their own class.
Exactly
that.
You have that. You have a terrific record, punctuated again with a fairly thorough victory over, one of the new kids on the block trying to threaten you a little bit. On the road, you take care of them. And you have quite possibly the most influential rookie from a basketball standpoint, not necessarily box office, from a basketball standpoint to come into this league in forever, in miles and miles and miles. What's pernicious about that combination? What's unattractive? Being really good and being really aesthetically pleasing in how you do it. This isn't a Jacques Lemaire-led basketball operation where you go, oh, God, just all they want to do is shut other people down.
Yeah.
They walk the ball up the court. It's plotting. It's effective, but none of that is true. So I will say maybe it's better to get this out now. There's more coming. There's going to be more coming.
Yes.
Because
they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. The playoffs are right around the corner. Well, eventually. And we're going to follow them. Not because we're obligated to. Not because we feel like we're trying to be performative, score any points. It's really not that complicated. It's what's interesting right now and what's good right now. Oh, well, that kind of fits in at least two ways for your Minnesota Lynx. So I will, all fair, I guess all's fair in love and war. I will consider this kind of a sense, maybe a kind of a spoiler alert in a way, or a trigger warning.
Yeah.
If somehow you've found a way to muster up some triggering about talking about this particular team. And again, not for 3.5 hours straight, but for one long segment.
After they beat the number 2 team in the league by double digits in their barn. I do that last part. I do get a chuckle out of because I've gotten it a lot recently. That you and I we're trying to join.
I got it Sunday.
Is it Woke 1 or Woke 2 now? Is it Woke 2?
This would be Woke 2.
We're trying to join Woke 2.
Yeah, this would be Woke 2.
And that's the only reason why we could possibly be entertained by what we're watching or seeing. Because we're trying to get in good graces with Woke 2 so that we can earn points, like you said, that in relation to that last texter. Or it could just be it's really fun. Like when Kayla McBride hits the night-night in Steph Curry's barn. That's badass. That's awesome.
Was Steph there, by the way, for the game?
No, it doesn't sound like it.
I thought maybe it was homage to him because he was in the building.
No, but apparently McBride is a huge Warriors fan, a huge Steph fan, which makes sense, and has been to games in that building to watch the Warriors.
Hope she doesn't get in trouble for that.
Apologize to the Timberwolves community?
To the WNBA community and the Lynx community because she's expressing admiration for a male player. That's not in the code book.
You're right. I didn't think of that.
That's not. I don't think that's.
Man, that could be bad.
Why do you have to bring up a male player? Why can't you bring up a female player?
That would be. I didn't even think of that.
Oh yeah, she'll get some crap for that.
I walked right into that one.
100%. There's no question about that. A lot of good text coming in. Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line is 64686. I can spin it a completely different way. Like I say, the danger in fashioning a record as good as 30-7 and being as dominant as they've been, average margin of victory, what do we say, 9 points a game?
8.8.
They're up by 100 points collectively over the second best team in run differential, so to speak. But the downside is the obvious. You sort of got to win the title.
100%.
Anything short of that is going to be a disappointment, and you're going to get, as sick as it is, ripped for it.
Like last season.
That's exactly right.
Like 2 years ago, the title was stolen from them by the non-travel call and the commissioner wearing the New York skyline dress, right? 2 years ago. Terrible. I'm never going to get over it.
No.
That entire
you love that call.
New York scene. I'm never going to get over that. The tweet from the WNBA, the title's back home, crap. So last year was supposed to be the get back, right? It was supposed to be, we're never forgetting this. We are going to right the wrong from a year ago. and they melted down in game 2 here against Phoenix and gave a game away. Then we know how Cheryl melted down and got tossed and I think suspended for one of the games, right? In that series. Like, it ended horribly, and they got ripped for it, as they should have. But that is the situation that they're in now. It's basically...
That's life in the big city.
It is. It's the heavy is the head that wears the crown, is what we like to say around here. And their head can be very heavy if they don't find a way to finish this thing off, because that's all it's about right now. They're handling every regular season challenge that could possibly be thrown at them.
Dan would rather heckle listeners about not watching the W than talk peak beauty league puck. And the answer to that question is...
Oh, God, yes.
Correct.
You're listening to Barreiro on the Fan.
All right. This Twins team stinks. There's no action at the rinks. Let's go Lynx. Wolves in 5. Meowway's year of the cat guy. Meowway's year of the cat guy. Should be changed to the NCBA. Nobody cares association. Get it?
They're just trying to get you going.
Yeah, I'm just reading it. I'm not rising to the bait.
I'm hopeful that they're just trying to get us going. Because I'm hopeful that nobody actually thinks that.
That it's all a bit? Yeah. For some people it is. For some people, sadly, I don't think that it necessarily is. I'm going to have to check this one with you before I read it. I want to be sure it's not anything I've seen.
I like how I'm the filter.
Well, yeah, that might be dangerous, giving you that much responsibility.
Very true. Said.
Yeah. The update, you sent me an injury report, so it sounds like we're in the part of the season where we're going to be very careful about minutes just by resting Nafisa Collier, for example, just because we can. Correct?
We play Washington tomorrow night on the road. Washington, by the way, plucky. My sources say a team to
Will
look
street
out
clothes
for.
Be there in street clothes?
I doubt it.
On the sidelines?
I doubt it. Oh. But maybe. I don't know. I don't want to project. Olivia Miles probable with the left ankle injury.
Which is also an encouraging sign, once again, that it's nothing.
She's got a little bit of Anthony Edwards in her, where she crumbles,
bounces back up,
and
now again, you're going to get some text on that. You're comparing her to a man.
That's true. I am. You're right.
You couldn't find a woman who represents the same thing from that league, and so you're pedestalizing the men.
You're right,
and you are minimizing, better term, what the women are doing. So think about it.
Now, what if I do it reverse during the Wolves season, where I say Anthony Edwards got a little Olivia Miles to him, where it looks like he's going to be out for 6 weeks, and he comes back the next media timeout?
Here's what we've tried to do. Our analogy when we've discussed LaMelo Ball has been, can he be Olivia Miles?
We have. Yes.
We've tried to put the shoe on the other foot because she's already gotten here and already had the impact. And the hope is that he could have something approximating her impact.
That would be nice.
Correct?
Nafisa Collier, by the way, is going to rest tomorrow.
To rest, yeah.
Yes, she is out for veterans rest tomorrow night. That's the other part of the injury report that people might be interested in.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought I said that, but maybe I used another term, that we're at the point of the season where it's like, well, we can just try to not overtax her as someone just coming back from an injury, correct?
Yes.
Trying to figure the thing out. How well is she playing, by the way, would you say?
I think she's playing really well.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 or 6 games, I think she's played extremely well. Especially defensively against Vegas, she was outstanding.
What happened to my button bar? I can't even find it here. Will you hit try to find done as?
Yeah.
It's deep. It's like 7 or 8 pages in, I think.
Is that right?
Pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, it's the end, right?
That's it just says the end. It's far right on the right upper quadrant.
Far right,
so to speak,
There's
as I recall it.
I can do the thing you do.
Although we can move it.
That's not it.
That's not it. That's how I see the game. That's how I bide my time.
Yeah, that's not.
The stories a stadium could tell.
Here it is.
This is the end. My only friend. The end.
I'm going to need you to translate this one for me because I haven't seen the story that allegedly is on its way to explain the headline. This is via your guy Pete Thamel.
Okay.
Is that how it's pronounced, Thamel?
Pete Thamel. Elite Pete is what PJ Fleck calls him.
A judge in Louisiana has granted a group that includes 16 football players, including several already in NFL training camps this summer, a restraining order which allows them to return to college sports this season.
Yeah.
What's
confusing?
Wild, Wild West.
Yeah, what's confusing? That makes perfect sense.
How good is that? How crazy is that? And how many of these judges, maybe this is a question we can ask Andy Luger when he joins us at the Great Minnesota Get-Together in person to ostensibly, I think, apologize to the popular music Blue Oyster Cult community.
The 1970s
More on that later.
Music community.
That's it.
Yeah.
Whether this is another example of a judge just saying, I want a little notoriety. I'm tired of just meaningless vanilla rulings that are not going to get any attention beyond my nose. I'm going to throw a Molotov cocktail into the middle of the room, and they're going to be paying attention to me. Because we're getting these every once in a while, right? Where a judge just decides, you can come on back in the pool. Now, does that involve any Gophers?
I don't think
potentially
it does.
Any Gophers coming back from training camp.
I don't think it does. But I'll be honest, I didn't look at the list, and it's not surprising.
Here are the names included. Players include former Ole Miss starters Daquan Wright, Xavion Harris, and South Carolina safety DQ Smith, which sound like legitimate players to me a little bit, that I don't know the names that well. You might, and that, have some notoriety in college football.
Well,
right?
If they're in NFL camps, that's enough said right there.
That's true.
They're good college players, that they're getting a look at the next level. It's amazing. It's college sports now. You're one judge is ruling away from something else crazy that makes no sense, that it doesn't seem like could actually be possible, but because of these injunctions and restraining orders and everything that comes with it, you can go ahead and come back. Why not? Smoke them if you got them.
Can you now find the follow-up sounder?
Yeah, that one's a little easier because it's actually labeled follow-up sounder. Well, you would think it would.
You thought it was going to be easier.
Yeah, where did it go?
Well, in all honesty, it's not going to be. It's not going to be quite as big a build-up, or maybe I built it up beyond what it's worth, because this isn't a story. It's actually a video that I haven't vetted. But it's a follow-up to what we discussed yesterday regarding the pithy quote from KOC yesterday, where he talked about, Chihuahuas, we don't need, Chihuahuas that are just making a lot of noise. We prefer, what was the breed?
Rottweilers.
They just sit there and they're making their point without having to, making all those silly noises.
And if they need to go, they can go.
Did KOC apologize to the Chihuahua community today?
I didn't see anything. No, I didn't see anything.
So it's all on that, huh?
Yeah.
Well, somebody named Joe had sent a link to a video with the story about that roving gang of Chihuahuas terrorizing an Arizona neighborhood. Maybe we should vet the video and have some fun with it later. I'm not sure. But it's apparently that was real. I'd never heard that story originally. But I almost feel like terrorizing Chihuahuas is a contradiction in terms on the basis of how non-threatening we think Chihuahuas are. On the other hand, I will tell you that I'm not sure I'd feel good about some little Chihuahua nipping at my ankles if for some reason it's like semi-rabid, even at that size.
But also, what do they say? Would you rather fight, like 150-year-old or 100 second graders?
Yeah, right.
I mean, how many Chihuahuas are we talking about? Because then it's
a roving pack of them, apparently.
That's what I mean. If it's 24 Chihuahuas, you're in the meat grinder.
That's true.
Because they're going to wear you out. So I think numbers is important here. I think that's important context.
Well, the best analogy would be, which Jurassic Park 3, where it opens with the filthy rich family that everybody's rooting against.
Oh, right.
They get off the charter boat and their minions set up this I think it was prawns. We're going to eat prawns. This huge dinner menu on the beach. And the little British girl starts doing some exploring, and before you know it, she's got some Chihuahua-like, size-wise, little dinosaurlets nipping at her heels. Next thing you know, she's screaming, and that's how the scene ends. Same thing, is it not?
Yes.
Because none of them were big, but if there's enough of them,
it doesn't matter.
They could terrorize you, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Which was exactly, I think that was 3. I think that
sounds right.
Jurassic Park 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Text your daughter during the break.
They have names. I don't remember the name of that particular animal because it does show up, I think, later in the film, too. 64686, Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. It is the perfect time to offer up your observations and questions for a geekless Gleeman today. He's in studio with us. So if you have questions for Gleeman, if you want to challenge him on his Minnesota Lynx interest and knowledge, what was the other thing I was going to challenge him on today? Beyond the Twins. That's something else I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we did. It wasn't State Fair.
It was the Banana Savannas.
Savannah Bananas, yeah.
Was he going to go highbrow, like, this is beneath me?
Right.
Or is it going to be, kids should be allowed to have their fun. I have no problems with Savannah Bananas, even if they bring it to a real big league ballpark. That will be on the table. The hotness of the Twins, is it sustainable? Should we be excited about it? Should we be semi-bored with it? Everything is on the table. 64686, Gleeman in studio. Don't forget Dr. Dan's inbox will be coming up at 5:30 as well. So a very busy show yet to come.
This is Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barreiro on the Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by